What's going on YouTube? Welcome to episode 93, the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zero Elite and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And also, don't forget to join the Discord channel. I'll have a link in the description below. Today we've got about kind of a short video, only about 13 minutes, but we're going to be working on the primary shuttle bay control room, as well as a couple of loose ins and outs in the shuttle bay, and then we'll be working on the bridge area, specifically the conference room. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So there are a couple of gaps here in the ceiling I didn't close in. We're going to fill those in. Looking pretty good so far. Definitely love how the primary shuttle bay came out. This thing just, it looks awesome. I'm really happy with it. But the ceiling here, it just needs a little bit of something, so I think we're just going to trim up the sides here just a little bit in the front, and then I think we're going to cut the edge here with some half slabs, just to kind of blend it in just a little bit more than what we currently have going on right now. So we're going to repeat this process going all the way along the ceiling. Alright, let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. So right here in this corner right here, that looks like it's missing a block. And see, this is where it comes right back into where I say follow your patterns, because when you follow your patterns, you can start to spot out where things are missing. And in this case, we're going with the cut line, so that's our main pattern that we're following. So doing that, now we can stay and keep the build a little bit more cleaner than how it normally looks. Yeah, see that looks great. Now we're going to be going over to the secondary control rooms, which right now are just facades. We're just going to be stretching them out just a little bit. I'm actually thinking about fleshing them out on the inside and making where you can actually go up into them. But I haven't even done it even where I'm at on my build. I've just recently have started thinking about it. There's one of the other things too. I think one of the reasons why I didn't do it is because I knew how long this build was going to be, and it's crazy. Next month will be a year that I've actually been working on the Enterprise D, and I won't say that this is the longest build that I've had, because when I first started building on Minecraft, when I was working on the 2009 Enterprise, and that eventually transitioned into the Enterprise A, I worked on that for several years, which ultimately ended up being a great thing, is that during that period of time helped me develop all the everything that you see during the course of this tutorial. Everything that I've learned for the last couple of years, I've really been applying into all these tutorials I'm showing you guys. So I mean, in that sense, it's really not the longest, but it is the longest, because those builds, I mean, they worked, even though the 2009 Enterprise to the Enterprise A, it's technically a refit, but I rebuilt that ship so many times, so it almost doesn't count as just one build, it's several builds. So I'd say in that case, Enterprise D is the longest single build that I've put my time into, and I don't know, this thing, I still have a ton of work to do on it too. And it's been weird, because I keep thinking to myself, like, I need to start thinking about the next build, but then I always keep coming back to, like, well, you know, I kind of started with the mandate when I started working on this thing, that I wanted to have the most fleshed out Enterprise D that I possibly could. in the one of the cleanest Enterprise Ds and the prettiest ones. So I mean, it's taking time to do it. Because especially even where I'm at now, I'm further along than where you guys are right now in the tutorial, because I don't think we've fully fleshed out engineering. We still haven't even built the deflector control room and some of the other areas. But there's just a lot of room on the interior and things that I have to figure out. That's kind of slowing it at a crawl for the building process right now. I'm actually, where I'm at right now in the build, I'm working on building out the crew quarters, and I've run into a small problem because where I was intending to build them, I can't actually use the floor coloring that I want to use, and if I decide I want to use that, then I have to actually go on the outside of the ship and kind of rework it a little bit. So these are just things that I'm dealing with right now, but we'll get into that once those things come up. But by the time it comes up in the tutorial, I'll have it the problem solved by then. Anyway, we're going to be shifting into the next phase of today's episode, and now we're going to be really trying to clean up the primary shuttle bay control room. So we're going to be filling in the roof, and then we're going to be adding computer consoles going along the top wall here right above the glass, and then a desk area. So for that we need the stairs, and we're just going to be stacking the stairs upside down. This way it gives a nice desk look. We're going to be getting the warp stem, which in order to do this, we need the grid pixel pack. And if you're not sure on how I did this, you need to go on my U.S.S. Cerritos tutorial. I have an episode, the grid pixel episode. I show you the exact combination that you need to have if you want to have the exact same building blocks that I have, because that's one of my things that I've really been trying to do on Minecraft. I'm not using any mods. I do this on Xbox. So this was the one exception that I made. I saw the grid pixel pack, I ended up buying it. It was like $5. Definitely worth it, because and it's crazy because I really, for the $5, I only end up using like a handful of blocks out of it in my builds. But that stem block right here, you can see why I like it, because it looks like it's a moving computer screen. That was my main reason on wanting it. And the other thing too is that it really, the combination that I have all my packs in place, it doesn't overlap any of the other blocks that I use, which is fantastic, because I use pretty much all the concrete blocks and the half slabs and everything, and those blocks, I really can't have a pack in place that's going to overlap those and change how my other builds look. So it was a nice addition to what I have going on. It's even for the $5, if you don't have it, I mean, it's definitely worth it, because it helps to bring your ship to life just a little bit more. But with that being said, if you don't want to spend the $5, you can easily replace that with like just a blue block. That's what I used to do when I didn't have them in place. I just had a blue block there, just to give the facade that it was like a computer screen. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to go up into the bridge, and the top deck on the turbo lift, and the bridge deck, we're going to clear this up a little bit. I believe we're actually going to stretch this out by 1 on this side. Now there was a slight error that I made when I built this out, and I didn't actually catch it when I was doing this. This was a change that I actually just recently made, but I'm going to have to shift the shaft that's coming up, because it's not going at the right angle. It should be going up the left wall here. If you're looking at the back wall, looking into the bridge, it would be this wall just to the right of the current shaft. That is something I actually just recently changed, and I'm going to be doing it in a future episode. So those of you that want to wait to see exactly what I did, stay tuned. That'll be coming in the next several episodes, because basically won't be anytime soon, because I have a lot of stuff that I've already pre-recorded that we have to get to before we can even get into that. Okay, looking pretty good. We cleaned that up. Now we're going to be going into the conference room, and cleaning up this area here. I talked about this in the past, that the conference room and the captain's ready room were really the only two exceptions that I made during the course of this whole tutorial, because these were the only two rooms I really didn't have nearly as much room as I was hoping to have. It is what it is. Even if you build a larger ship, at one point or another you're going to be pressed for space. But all things considered, the fact that I've been able to get this far without really having to be constrained on space, I mean, it's really been a blessing. But then, you know, the other thing too is that when I originally designed this bridge, and I've talked about this, that the outside of the bridge was originally supposed to be a lot smaller, and my original idea was that I was actually going to build the primary bridge lower down into the ship, so this way I can make it larger, but then on the outside it didn't look as big. But what ended up happening is that when I actually started fleshing out my interior and started building out the mall and then the shuttle bay and everything, I realized that I didn't have the room to do that. So then I had to go back and I had to make the outside of the bridge larger. And even as large as we've made it, it's crazy, it's still not big enough to really house everything at the size that it needs to be at. But we're pretty much at the point on the size of the bridge that if we would have made it any bigger, it would have just completely thrown off the whole size, proportions of the ship. I might even argue that even the size of it now, it's almost too big. But to be honest with you, I think unless you had it side by side with a model of the Enterprise D, that's really going to be the only way that you notice. When you just look at it by itself, it doesn't look bad, it doesn't feel out of place. But for somebody like me looking at it, I know that it's bigger than it's supposed to be. But it's just kind of one of those things that, what are you going to do? You've got to figure out a solution to the problem and how you can fix it within what you have to work with, which is exactly what we're doing here. So I ended up just making the bridge slightly bigger to fit in everything that I could fit in here. Because I didn't want to build the bridge out and not have the captain's ready room or the conference room, because those were so they were pretty much in almost every single episode of The Next Generation, and I didn't want to have them in another section of the ship. So, you know, it's one of those things, you know, you either work with the space that you have, make it a little bit smaller than what it was, or you end up having to change something and make the outside of the bridge bigger or move these to different areas of the ship, and then it's completely outside of canon. So just, you know, it is what it is. But all things considered, with everything that I was able to do with this area of the ship, I'm actually pretty happy with it. That's the thing too, because I'm always going to be my own worst critic when it comes to my builds. I always try to look at things that I did and maybe ways that I can make it better. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because it pushes you as a builder to improve and get better. Which is one of the reasons why when I go through my ships, I try not to repeat the same things twice, and I try not to make the same mistakes. But it's just going to happen, you know? So we just kind of got to roll the punches and do what we can do. So we're going to hop on the outside of the ship here. I need to actually swap that glass block out, and I'm going to be swapping all these to make the glass black instead of that. It's almost like a stained purple color, because I want all the windows to match. See, and this is the other thing too, and I talk about this also, that sometimes in Minecraft, when you're building something, sometimes it doesn't always translate the best from a 3D object to a pixelated object. So what I'm basically getting at here is what we have right now are their windows. This is how it should be, because on the back side of the bridge, where the conference room was, it had those slits going along the window, going along the back here. So that would basically be what it is. And we can't go up or down because we're working with half slabs. So this is really the only option that we have. But there's something about that I'm not feeling it. It doesn't look all that great. So what I'm going to do to solve that problem is I'm just going to have it be a solid strip of glass in the back. just to fix that problem. And while it's not perfectly within canon, I think that looks better than what we just had. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. Not done, just a quick in and out episode today, but we'll be picking back up on Wednesday. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap us up today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me support the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And new subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so as get notified when those new videos drop. And speaking of new videos, you can always catch my new Minecraft videos dropping Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Also, don't forget to join the Discord channel. I'll have a link in the description below. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, or just dropping by to say hey, let me know in the comments section. Definitely love hearing from everybody either on my YouTube channel or Discord. But yeah, that's definitely going to wrap us up. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you build in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section, and I'll catch you on the next episode.